Oasis, Stop Crying Your Heart Out on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Stephen Merchant and Karl Pilkington. Karl's competition is in full swing now. I just will remind you, when playing songs of phrase and trying to guess the songs and artists, what do you want, songs or artists?
I think songs is better.
Yeah.
Alright.
But that's ambiguous, isn't it, what a song title is? Where
yeah,
if you know the
artists, definitely.
Maybe the artist who cleans it up really, yeah?
Yeah.
Artists. Okay, you know if they know what it is, because that'd stop any ambiguity, won't it? And don't worry if you haven't got all of them, because the winner last week didn't have all of them, but it's the closest one. I understand when you're trying to guess what's in Karl's mind, you can only get so close.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He wants us to bring in Darren Brown. He go, because he won't be able to read my mind. And I think he's right.
I think he might be.
I think he is the one person that could outwit Darren Brown.
Yeah.
Now, moving on, Karl.
Well, should we just play it very quickly? Just play again.
Just if you're in case you want to join in. Go on then, one more time. Because you have to get, you know, it is very difficult. So, you know, song or artist, we give points if you're close to any of those, and we'll choose a winner. So, you know, do.
And what do points mean? Crap prizes.
XFM.
XFM.co.uk / Ricky.
Right. Now, we got people to send in, a little thing for you last week, didn't you? The film Freaks. You got a few sent in. You watched it, did you?
Yeah. Now, I should just point out that the film Freaks, for those that don't know, was a movie that was released, I think, well, actually, it was originally made in about 1932, something like that, and then it was delayed. It was banned for many years, because it did, in actual fact, feature, for want of a better phrase, real-life freaks.
Yeah.
Bearded ladies being one of the more kind of familiar ones.
There's a guy without arms and legs.
There's all sorts. And, it was actually it's quite a tender film, isn't it? And actually portrays them as a kind of dysfunctional family. It's not exploitative in that sense, but, what do you make of it, Karl?
Well, you were watching it for the Freaks, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I wish it does take a while to get onto it. What do you mean? Well, straight away I was disappointed, right? Because at the start, like, you put it in, it's like, oh, brilliant. Here we go, you know, I said to Suzanne, we'll watch this, have a good night. Yeah. Have a romantic night.
Yeah, that's it, her birthday. Yeah. You've got your gloves, now we're gonna watch some Freaks.
So, put it on, and it starts off, and it's like, you know, the following film, and you think, ooh, it's like following films rated 15, which means, you know, might contain scenes of violence, bad language and sex. Yeah. Mention nothing about pinheads. Right. So I thought they missed a trick there. Yeah. Right? So I thought, well, let's go and watch it.
And what exactly is a pinhead?
Oh, if you've seen it, you'd know.
Okay.
Right, so, not the best thing in it either. So imagine that.
Okay, so you're watching it?
So, sat there, I think, right, something comes on, and the little fella's on there, the little fella we were talking about, the Pillow Man.
Right. Is he the best thing in it? Now, what's the Pillow Man again?
He's a fella who, years ago, he's got no arms and legs.
Right. Just a torso?
Just rolls, yeah. And, there's a scene where you see him sort of rolling a cigarette up, just using his mouth, and it's like, he lights it and stuff. And that's weird. And then, what else is on it?
So it can stanch your growth.
And then there's a little fella on it, who is fed up, because he looks 5, but he's actually 34.
Right.
Right? But there's a woman who is 42 and looked 8. So they both had the opposite thing. They were both really fed up. And I kind of thought that shows that, you know, you always want what someone else has got.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in a way, there's a story there in that.
No, you described the same there.
No, it was like...
No, they both, you just said, they both looked young, but they are actually both older.
No. This was like a little man.
Yeah. Who was 35.
Who was 35.
And looked 8.
Yeah.
And so did she.
No, well, the other way round then.
What? So she was an 8-year-old that looked 35?
Yeah. So, oh, maybe not then.
Anyway. No.
But that wasn't that weird. I kind of thought it's a slow start on that.
Yeah.
And then,
It's not a difficult film to follow.
No. Yeah, but I wasn't really listening to what it's all about, just looking at what they had. And they had like a fella who's running about on just...
They had like he was shopping.
You know, they had a fella with no legs and he's running about on his hands. And sort of got about on a skateboard, talking to someone about it. They said that's how E.T. was done. There's actually a little fella in E.T.
Right.
Who's just half of, sort of half a body.
Is that true? I've no idea. I've never heard that before. Why haven't we heard that before? I've never heard that before. I don't think he would fit in E.T. Because he's got because where's the head? He's got no neck, E.T. It's a skinny little thing. There's no human neck couldn't fit in that skinny little neck. Well,
You sure it wasn't Kenny Baker up to his old tricks?
What are you talking about, Carl? There's a fella with no legs in E.T.
In E.T. they had two fellas, right? I think they had a little, a midget fella.
Right.
Who did it. And then I think he was off sick and they were like, oh, you know, what else are we gonna do?
So they saw a guy on a skateboard going by.
And said, do you fancy some work?
Right.
And he's done it. I think someone told me, I mean, it might be wrong.
Exactly.
Might be wrong.
It might be, mightn't it? I mean, you've never been wrong before, so I don't know why you'd be wrong there. So what's the worst thing in it?
Now, it's intriguing to me because here's a film called Freaks, featuring real-life freaks, and you're sort of a bit nonplussed by it.
Just because it's built up. If you call a video Freaks, you've got to make sure that there's some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
What were you disappointed about? Was it that?
Because there was a few things on it, right? There was a woman who said she was half man, half woman, and it's like, well, you're not, are you? It was just like she had some makeup on, I thought, well, that's rubbish. And then there was a woman who could eat using her feet. That isn't that freaky. Do you know what I mean? If she's not hungry, she looks normal.
Yeah.
And that's when I was thinking, I mean, I'm not being right, Steve. You know I'm not being funny.
Oh, here we go.
No, but I'm just saying, if that woman wasn't eating and you were sat next to her in that film,
Yeah.
I'd probably be sort of drawn to you more than her. I'm not... I know you hate me saying it, but there's no point sort of pretending. Do you know what I mean?
Oi, Muttley, what are you sniggering about?
The fact that well, you mean there were things in it that were less... What are you saying?
I'm just saying...
Play a record. Seriously, I'll slap you. I'm gonna slap you live on air.
Yeah, but you always go...
I'm slapping you live on air, I swear to God.
Alright, play a song.
Wow, so Freaks then, all in all, not as amazing as you first hoped.
It was built up too much. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
It's like...
Is that my fault for getting you excited? I just can't believe it. I hand you this thing on a plate. So
I know, but...
Yeah.
And I'm not being out of order, Steve. I'm just being honest. We've always said that about this show. We only talk about stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You know, being honest and that.
Yeah, no, sure.
And I've always said the first time I saw you.
Sure, no, you've always been honest, and I've always been honest with you. I've always said that, you know, you've got the intelligence and insight of a gnat.
Yeah, but if I keep quiet, people don't know that.
Sure.
Alright,
Incredibly they do, Carl, because you look stupid as well.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
No, but Carl was being nice then. You don't...
I'm just saying, you're a good bloke, and now I've got to know you.
Sure.
Yeah. The first time was weird when I saw you.
Yeah.
No, leave it. Don't just put it into it. Just let it go.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
The first time it was weird, and then weeks go by.
Sure.
And the weird thing is, I kind of thought maybe he's not that odd looking.
Yeah.
And then you went to LA for 3 weeks.
Sure.
And when you came back, it was like the first time again.
Right. Okay.
No, I'm just.
Okay. Right. No. Stop it now.
Yeah.
Everyone, stop it now.
No, but I just think I'm a little bit more consistent because I've always thought you were an idiot.
I don't want this. Don't argue. He was just okay.
No, I just, you know, you know what I mean. My opinion has never changed. I've always thought you're an idiot.
No, it's just all nice. Let's look. Peace.
Shut up, fatso.
Peace, not war.
He's just such a stirrer, isn't he?
No,
he loves it. I don't think I didn't see you whispering behind the microphone about what to say to Carl.
Look what I've just drawn, Carl, subconsciously.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I drew a picture of him, it's going to be on the website.
It's not been on the website.
No, it's going to be. I drew a little cartoon of him. No, not yours, I drew one of Carl. Right, okay. What were we talking about? That was a...
So, yeah, no, the Freaks thing was over and done with. It was alright if you want to get it out on video.
Sure.
You know, it's probably worth a look.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things on there that get you thinking more, you know, it's like how their life is and stuff, do you know what I mean? How it's affected, and like the little pillow man, or the fella who's got half of his body missing.
Yeah.
You know, it's stuff like that you think, ooh.
But what's the one that was disappointing? You said it was a half man, half woman.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that one.
Do you mean hermaphrodite or half? I can't remember it. Do you mean it was one sort of like it had bits of both?
It was just like half a face done in makeup and long hair, then on the other side had it shaved.
I love the idea that you go to this circus and there's people in there that have been sort of persecuted all their life, and they think, well, maybe I can make some money, and then you boo them because they're not freakish enough. I love the idea they go, boo, you're not freakish enough, boo. Oh, you've got bits of legs, boo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But there was, I mean, talking about that, you see, why did they join the circus and that? Because there are things they can do. I was telling you in the week that I was reading something on some news website about some sort of, Olympic-style games, where they're gonna see, like, disabled people against able-bodied.
Right. Let's be careful here, shall we?
No, I'm just saying, though.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So there is other things. It doesn't mean just because you haven't got legs you can't do other stuff.
Yeah.
And in this race, there's, like, disabled people who are beating able-bodied people.
Yeah.
I mean,
what?
Would you go and see that? I don't know.
But, I mean, it depends. What do you mean? They're beating them? At what?
He didn't state what the little races were and that.
Little races. Does that
Can't help himself.
no, little races. Oh, look, there's the disabled with their little races.
Yeah, they're having another little race.
Oh, dear.
Would you go? Would you go and watch that?
Do you remember when Jimmy thought that Paralympics stood for Paraplegic Olympics?
The Paralympics?
Yeah, it means Parallel Olympics.
Yeah.
He thought it meant Paraplegic Olympics. That would be a good site, wouldn't it? Mainly blow football. Right. Okay. So, what was that thing I told you to look up in the week?
You were saying, I don't believe you, were going on about, we were talking about the half man, half woman.
Yeah.
And you were saying...
You can get a sex change on the NHS, just to see what you say about that. Did you look it up?
I didn't, because I think I was wasting my time.
Oh.
I don't think you
I'm
can
giving
have that
all
done.
these things. Little player records to annoy
No, but
me now.
you wouldn't do that. You do,
You've annoyed Steve. You've annoyed Steve on air.
I'm sorry about that.
Well, it's just too late, Carl.
But we were talking about other stuff as well. I mean, you know, talking about operations and that. You were saying, you know, can you have a sex change done on the NHS and that?
No, you can.
Well, you say you can. I think that's a bit... It's not that important to have done, I don't think.
Well, it depends if you desperately want it. It depends if you feel that you're born actually a different sex.
Right. And then you went on to say there's other things that are done. Get this, Steve. Someone, if the cat's got a bad liver...
Kidney.
Right. Bad kidney. Can have it done for £5,000.
Yeah, you can have a kidney operation.
But what's wrong with that? If you've got £5,000 you want to waste it on a cat, then fine.
Get another one. We went through loads of cats, I've told you before, as a kid, we got through loads. It's not worth it, and there's no cat that is that amazing that you'd go, gonna miss that one, it's never gonna be the same, cause—
What do you mean? What would it have to be able to do to be worth it? Well, it's normally to do with people's affection for their cat. They've had the pet for many years. What do you mean? It should be able to juggle? Or
No,
do impressions, and that's why it's worth £5,000?
Supposing there was a fella, right, he feels he was born a woman, he's not happy, right? He doesn't want this he's got a knob and a couple of testicles that he does not want, right? He wants a lovely pair of tits and a minge, right? And he finds out that he gets a cut price, he gets, you know, a cut price sort of operation, a dodgy backstreet, transsexual maker, right? £5,000. Knockdown price £5,000. It's done with a blunt knife and some chloroform, right? But
why have you got to have it all done?
What? You mean just like have the knob trimmed and wear a bra?
Well, yeah, I mean, are you saying if you have it all done you get some sort of offer, if you give them something?
No, I was being flippant. I'm saying, I was trying to get down to £5,000. Supposing there was a fellow, he had £5,000 to give away, right? Some old woman with her cat is gonna die. Or some fella who wants his knob chopped off and a lovely pair of tits put on. Who would you give the £5,000 to?
So, hang on a minute, so there's a fella who wants to be a woman.
Yeah.
And there's a woman who's got an ill cat.
Yeah.
Ooh. You see, I'd be annoyed. Is this £5,000? Is this my savings, or? No,
just you get given £5,000 and you go, but you've got to give it to a charity of your choice. And it's got to be one of them. You give them
right, I'll tell you what I'd do.
What?
I'd find out what the cat looks like, get a replacement, right? Say it's had the op. She's loving it, thinking it's happy again.
Yeah.
Give the fella the money.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, so you're basically saying that you'd rather have the bloke have his knob cut off and stuff than
I'd have to have a chat with him first and say, what's your problem? And say, why do you need this doing? And
I think they go through that. I think they go to counselling and live with a woman for
like a second opinion thing. I'd just be saying, right, are you sure?
Yeah.
But £5 on a cat, it can only be for people who have got loads of money, right? And it's like, well, £5, it's nothing.
Well, I think this debate will rage on. Should we play a record and come back to this? Think about it, though.
Yeah. Bit of White Stripes.
SIBO. Bitter End on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington. Karl, you're looking all flustered and confused again.
Still sort of don't get it.
What don't you get?
Well, that's a long list, Rick.
Yeah.
You know, if you have your
knob cut off.
Yeah.
It's because they feel like they're actually born a woman, and they're not living right. They can't live properly with all these things, you know. Well, I mean, there are people that are genetically the other gender. They've just grown, you know. There was one woman actually who was a scientist researching it and found out genetically she was a man. She had Y chromosomes. But this is something different. This is both psychological and everything else.
Sometimes it's that thing again, isn't it? You can't always have, you know, what you want. It's like I'd like to have hair. Do you know what I mean?
But it's a bit easier. You can wear a wig. You can't go round really. Well, you can put on, you know, false breasts and tuck it in.
That's just it as well, isn't it? You see, you say, you know, you could have the operation done and that, and yeah, you might sort of feel as free as a woman down below and that, but at the end of the day, you still look like a fella.
Yeah, here's a bra and a split tennis ball.
No,
they'd be just like Auntie Nora.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Well, yeah, but it's about their outward appearance as well and how they feel publicly. Don't forget, a transsexual, it's not a transvestite. This isn't just a builder in a dress. They have the hormone replacement as well, so they get estrogen, so they and electrolysis, so they have, you know, their face looks different, they don't go bald, they're slighter, they you know what I mean? They're the real thing. A transsexual is now the real thing. Biologically and politically and...
But they'll still be a man, won't they?
Well, it'd be embarrassing if they don't tell their new partner and there's pictures of them, you know, down the pub when they were 24, but you probably sort of get over that, don't you? They go, "Is it a fella with a beard drinking the yard of ale?" That was me.
Well, interesting story. Probably should have told you this before the honeymoon.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can have all that done, right? There's stuff, you know, you could have your bits done, right? You can have, like, false teeth, but you know that when you see an old person with a good set of teeth, it's like, well, they're false. There's no way you've got good teeth like that if you were brought up in, like, the 30s.
But what would you do if Suzanne said, "Look, I've got a terrible secret," and she showed you a picture of this kid, this little boy, growing up, you know, playing football, and then the pictures stop at 20, just before you met her, and, she goes, and she shows you a nice pair of bollocks in a jar. She goes, "They were mine."
Well, first thing is he'd take back the gloves he bought her last week.
Would you go, "Oh, I can't go out with you now"? Or would you say, "Well, you're the same person"? I've blown his mind.
Yeah,
I really have freaked him out there.
She is into sport.
Hey? Should we play a record while you give her a call?
No, but look, what I'm saying is right, it doesn't matter what you have done. We can wrap this up here, because I've got it sorted, right?
Okay.
It doesn't matter what you have done. At the end of the day, it's obvious that you've had it done. If you're a fella and you've been changed to a woman, I could spot you, right?
Mm-hmm.
If...
You can't, though.
I tell you what, I was at Suzanne's mum and dad's, right, up north last week, and I went to the off licence, right?
Yeah.
And I went in there, never seen this fella before, right? As soon as I walk in, I eye him up behind the counter and go, "All right, mate."
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
I notice he's got a wig on, right?
Yeah.
Now, it was, I kinda looked and I thought, yeah, it's a wig, whatever. And then, I thought, I wonder if it is, and as I got to the till, I said, "How much is that?" He said, you know, 50 pence. I said, "Great." And as he turned to the till...
Were you buying Suzanne a gift?
As he turned to the till and he did that sort of angle, you got the profile, you see the bit sticking out of the back, you go, "That's a wig."
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
And
it's like a little, it just, the last inch just lifts away from the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, everybody who goes in that shop will probably know him as having a wig and that. He keeps him happy, but everybody knows. So, what I'm saying is, it's like...
But could I just say, transsexuals put in a little bit more effort than a fella who's plonked a rug on top and held it down with some duct tape. Do you know what I mean? You know, the only giveaway often with a transsexual is the big hands. They can't do anything about that. That's the only thing, you know.
Right.
But I mean, what transvestites are different, you know. They are builders in the dress. You go in a supermarket, you turn around, you see a 6-foot woman, huge head. You go, all right, love. You know what I mean? You know, down below, she's packing more than us 3 put together.
That's what I'm saying.
But you know what I mean? That's one thing. If Eddie Izzard, right? You're meeting Eddie Izzard, right? Who likes to pop on a dress now and again, right? What's the politics with that? Do you go? Because he walks in, he's all in evening gown, and he goes, all right, Carl. And you go, all right, Eddie, and it's in a busy pub, and you go, oh, why is he? And you go, do you say, do you want a pint of bitter? And slap him on the back like you would a mate, or do you go, that's lovely, that's a lovely dress? Do you know what I mean? What do you do? What do you do with a transvestite?
Would you compliment a transvestite
on their lovely dress?
if he was wearing a nice dress? In the same way that you would if Suzanne was wearing a nice
Probably in a different way. I'd probably say, that dress, you know, looks nice. Be even nicer on a woman.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So you try and change the way they think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd want to teach them a lesson.
Yeah.
Sure.
In a way.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of them things I can't get my head around, to be honest, right? I can handle hairy Chinese kids.
Yeah.
Is it true to say that you've never been able to handle a transvestite? So that's good. We've done...
So we've solved the whole transvestism issue.
Yeah, let me just check. We've done hairy Chinese kids, people having their knobs cut off. I think
we've touched on the war as well. We've sorted that out.
We've done freaks, haven't we? We've done freaks with no arms and legs, haven't we?
Take that. I don't think there's any other areas of possible offence.
Have we done Forrest Gump in a wheelie bin? Well, we touched on your Auntie Nora, but haven't mentioned her fight for 5 minutes, or showing you her clunge. Hold on, let me see. I don't know if we might have...
I'd definitely like to hear the word clunge more often.
Yeah.
On this show.
Mary.
Leave that.
Yeah, clunge, Mary.
I'm still none the wiser on that, but... we'll leave it.
I love the fact you are such a you're such an old man, aren't you? You're such a reactionary old man, the way you talk. You are the sort of bloke, I imagine you and your father stood in a pub, if a man came in a dress, oi, you're a bloke in a dress, take it off.
We were talking last week we were talking about things that you can, sort of say and do when you're sort of like 40. I thought another one, nod to a policeman.
Yep. Definitely.
They're on the beat, they're going along, you're going your duty, you're going on, yeah, I know you're alright, Yeah. Never mind these youngsters shouting at you and knocking your cap off.
Exactly.
It's that you can nod at a copper.
If you're 40, you can nod at a copper, because it's like going, I know what you're up to, it's a difficult job, you're doing it well.
Yeah, I respect you now, I didn't when I was young, I know what I was thinking of, well done, mate.
Well, I like the one you mentioned last week, you're now of an age where a van driver might ask you to back him into a parking space.
Yeah, well, you don't feel good, you go, get out of the way.
He wouldn't even consider it.
No, get out of the way. Yeah. If
you're under 30, you don't even consider. It's like I was thinking the other day, if I was in a pub with my dad and say his mates and they're all sort of 40 or 50, there is not one of them that would turn to me first with a pint of bitter and go, taste that, see if is that off?
No, they wouldn't. They would
never consider me. My opinion is the last one they're interested in.
Yeah.
Is that off?
Things you can do over, I think, maybe 50. Wear a flat cap and not like a frat.
Yeah.
You know, you're wearing it because your head's cold.
Yeah, exactly.
You're wearing it because your head's cold. You're 50 years old, flat cap, fine.
Yeah, or just wear a suit and tie without having to go to an event or a convention.
Just get up and pop on a little old suit and tie.
Just pop on a suit and tie.
I tell you what, I love seeing old boys in a suit on Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They've got shiny shoes and they're 75. And they go down the pub and I think it's brilliant.
I got photographs of one of my late grandfathers, he must have been in his 60s, on the beach, wearing a suit. Wearing a suit on the beach. I got a feeling he's even got a knotted handkerchief and a full 3-piece suit.
That's great.
It's brilliant.
It's a decency all time.
My grandfather, in my mind, was always wearing a suit. I never saw him not wearing a suit. I think he wore a suit to bed. I can't imagine taking that suit off. It was always...
Maybe it was an all-in-one, pull-on one.
But he didn't, I mean, what the weird thing is though, it wasn't like he worked in a bank all his life. I think he was a builder. And then he retired and thought, it's time I should start wearing a suit.
I know. Oh, I love it. That's just, you know what I mean? It's because they've got to do something then. They've got to get up and they make an effort and they're, you know, they're still part of the world. As opposed to me already just walking around in my pants.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like there's no point in getting dressed, I'm not going out.
Yeah.
Or everything's got an elasticated waistband.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't even consider a pair of trousers.
Slip-on shoes, pull-on trousers, just,
I have never seen a man with more Velcro in his closet. That has got to be for you the best time-saving device ever. Velcro.
It's great. Just me and a baby girl, a dry white baby. I went to, after we went to the awards.
Has your tuxedo got Velcro?
Well, I was still talking about that, the award show. I went home. When did we stay there? We went to, what, 12 or something. Anyway, I went home and I was watching telly at the end, right? And, I was eating, I had these sesame seeds 'cause I was hungry. I had a few. And, in the end, at the bottom of this jar of sesame seeds, right? Oh, there's tiny little seeds. But I didn't want to waste them, so I sort of poured them into my mouth and sort of like ate them like millet, like a budgie binging.
Yeah.
I went to bed, got up the next day, I thought, oh, I felt a bit sweaty, I had a resolve. And there was loads of seeds still in my chest.
Well, in the hair on your chest?
Yeah. Oh, I had to pick them, it took me ages to pick them out before I had a bath. So they must have stayed there all night, but not with the, you know, with the cheese and alcohol that was coming through my pores. These seeds, and well, they started growing. I'd have to mow my chest. Oh dear.
Your girlfriend's a lucky woman.
Sesame seed chest. What we got, Carl?
Oh, do you remember we were also talking about, on the names you cannot call kids now? It's like there are certain names.
I was thinking that, like, there's great old blokes' names, but they have to be a baby once.
Yeah, but,
I name this child Alf.
You can.
Stan.
There are sort of these names which you just never name a child now. I mean, Karl, frankly, is
oh, that's alright.
Which is quite trendy.
Oh, but Sid.
Alf Sid. You would never name a child Sid. Stan.
Bert. I name this child Bert.
Did I ever tell you about my Uncle Alf?
No.
He wasn't a proper uncle, right? But, he was just one of my dad's mates and that. And he was getting on a bit, he must have been about, 60, which is pretty old when you're younger and that. And he was the same, he used to always wear a suit and that. But he was never in good nick, it was always like a rough suit, but it doesn't matter. Still, making half the effort and that. Yeah. And he used to, sleep in a dinghy. Right, Uncle Alf.
What? In his house?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, in a flat, he's in like a little bed set. Because he only had a little bed set, and he was into boats and stuff. So he had this
Two birds with one stone.
Had this little dinghy, had a little flat, thought, well, it's tight space and that. He had a dinghy as a bed, and he had 2 tellies, right? He had 2 tellies, one that the sound worked on, the other one only the vision worked. So if you wanted to watch a programme,
you had to turn them both on.
Put them both on like BBC One, turned one up, and watched the other one.
Wow. That's extraordinary.
From his dinghy?
Sat in his dinghy.
That is brilliant.
It was an inflatable dinghy, it wasn't like a wooden.
Yeah, an inflatable one, yeah, big inflatable
Did you ever go around and visit him?
Yeah, now and again.
Was it weird seeing a 60-year-old bloke in a suit, in a dinghy, inside, watching 2 tellies?
It's weird at the time, I thought.
But which of the TVs stopped working properly first? I mean, did he... let's say the sound went on one of them.
Yeah.
Did he carry on watching the other one, hoping that the other one was fine?
No, he went and got a new telly, and then the vision went on that, and he went, oh no. He went, hold on though.
Wait a minute.
I've got another telly in the wardrobe that I haven't used it, it must have been like that.
Yeah.
Wow, he sounds brilliant. Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still around, yeah. I haven't seen him for years, but he used to,
was he married?
I
think that's what happened. I think his wife passed away, and that's when he had all this, he had a boat. And it's like, oh, where am I going to put it in a bed sit? And it was like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sleep in that. So, yeah.
I wonder if you ever brought any women back. Just the idea of bringing them back. Getting down to it. Shall we move into the bedroom?
Ahoy! Oh, that is fantastic. Missy Elliott, Gossip Folks on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Now, I know we're not meant to, mention the adverts, and I'm not slagging off the advert. It's that National Lottery advert with the little Welsh fella saying, your money from the National Lottery goes towards mountain rescue. And put it out there, we've saved a lot of people. Now, that's fine, that's great, well done. What I'm annoyed at is why those people are allowed to go up the mountain in the first place.
Yeah.
Don't go up there, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
You're at your own risk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's ridiculous. Just posh, beardy twats climbing mountains and sticking a flag up there. Why climb? I don't want you to. I don't want you to.
Am I paying, is there any point, Rick, where I am paying for people to get rescued from mountains?
I'm not sure. I think the lottery's doing it now.
Fine, because I'll tell you, if it was my money, I would be livid.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? I mean...
you should have to take out insurance if you want to climb up a mountain.
You should pay for it.
Yeah.
If we save you, it'll cost a lot of money. You owe you. I'll be paying it back for the rest of your life. That's the risk.
Yeah.
Not falling to your death.
Exactly.
But never being able to pay it. They're all posh and rich anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just like, a cat gets stuck up a tree and the farmer come out because it doesn't know any better. Imagine if that was a bloke. I'm stuck up again. Stop going up there!
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying again though, it's only a cat, so leave it up there. Get another one.
Absolutely. And there's the skeleton of Tiddles. I couldn't be bothered to go and get a ladder.
No, but it's the same. A few weeks ago everyone was making a fuss over that sheep. That was the first cloned sheep.
Yeah.
And it died. Clone another one.
Oh, wow.
If only you could do the same with mountaineers.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks the same, the beard's the same, they all look like Brian Blessed.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So I ever tell you about the time that my father, when I was younger, we went on holiday, my dad he bought a little boat. Little sort of wooden boat, make a 3-seater, and he and a friend of his went out with me in the boat. I was maybe 12 or 13. Went out, we sort of I think we were on we had the little motor, outboard motor, chugging out. We just thought we thought this was real seafaring stuff.
Brilliant.
We'd lost sight of the beach because we'd gone round a corner of like a mountain, or like a, what do you call it, like a cliff. And so we just round the corner, and there was this boy, like, just floating in the water. Not a boy, but you know, like a boy. And, very tricky to explain that on the radio. It's the same word, isn't it? Boy, a boy, and a boy.
Yeah.
And so we float past that and we're just chugging along. The motor conks out. Oh, I can't believe it. We have to row back in. So they're rowing away, I'm just sat there. And we noticed that every time we sort of think we've got past this buoy, it just seems to be back where it started again. And we realised that the tide is taking us to, but not taking us out, taking us towards these rocks. And we've got ravaged rocks. And we were a bit pretty scared, because I can't swim very well, or I couldn't at the time. I think when my dad had maybe bought, you know, I'll be honest with you, I inherited a lot of things from him, one of which was his carefulness with money. just the one life jacket.
How deep was the water?
Which I seem to remember he tore off my back and put on himself. So the water's pretty down. I mean, I'm not saying we would have necessarily died, but it was pretty scary, because the boat, you know, we were going to go crashing into these rocks and stuff. It was getting pretty unnerving. And so they're sort of rowing like mad, trying to we're just not making any progress, and we're beginning to think that this might be the end. And, this boat, this kind of ferry boat, comes chugging by doing tours, ching, 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 ching. And it comes by, and my dad goes, oh, wow. We were going, brilliant, they can help us, they'll throw us a rope, they'll tow us back in. He was going, you've got to be careful though, hang on, because according to the laws of the sea, if he rescues us, Steve, he can claim my boat. The laws of the sea mean he can claim my boat as salvage.
I love the idea of
that's like a reward. Doing
that.
But what I like is, his 12-year-old son might die, he's thinking about the boat.
I know, but also, the other thing, of course, is that I like the idea of this ferry master going,
Yeah.
The boat be mine now, or take your son.
Yeah.
Let me think about it.
I need a new bed. That'll be just right. King size.
Oh dear, that's lovely.
So we've done a lot of stuff today. We've covered.
We've done, Artist Minge, we've done, what else have we done? We've done Chop Your Bollocks Off for Free.
Yeah. We've done the operations for £5 which I'm not happy about.
Yeah, leave the cat up there.
Spend money.
We've done most stuff, I think. We've done a lot.
Yeah.
We still haven't done Forrest Gump in a wheelie bin, but we can leave that till next week if you want.
See, I still think there's something in the spending money in areas that it's not needed. Like, the fella, if you've only just tuned in, you've missed the debate about a fella who needs his tackle taken off.
A debate makes it sound like it was a bit more informed than it actually was.
Well, and I'm just, all that time, that was probably half an hour ago, and I've still been thinking about other things that it would be good if more money could be ploughed into things to get them out there.
Like what?
Do you know what I mean? Well, I was looking, I'm a fan of going on the web and that.
Sure.
And, there's inventions, right? We were talking about a few weeks ago, inventions that are out there, and there's some that, are well known by famous people who have brought stuff out.
Do you know why we didn't go on with this? Because I remember saying to you about Einstein, whose clues you think's clever, you weren't impressed with it. I said Einstein, and you went, this is a quote, you went Einstein, well, yeah. Now, I've never needed, you got it wrong, you went, I've never needed MC squared in my life, but the fella who made the video recorder, I watch one a week.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Brilliant.
And it's the fact that everybody's got one good idea in them,
Yeah.
right? Like Newton said about the apple.
Yeah.
I did Rockbusters.
Yeah.
Right? And there was this thing that was on the website.
So they shouldn't be spending money on investigating, sort of medical procedures that might help people. They should be spending it on what, Carl?
Well, I found this thing, right, Ricky? Brilliant.
Yeah.
What it was, little sort of mops.
What?
Little mops, like little mop heads.
Like floor mops?
Yeah.
Right.
Fit them on your cat feet. If you've got a cat. Right, if you've got a little cat.
Yeah.
Put these little things on the feet, and there was a picture of one, just like walking around the kitchen. Like that. Looking a bit like that.
Nick,
right?
you can't do looking like that on the radio.
No, but it's just looking a bit sort of fed up, but he didn't really know what was going on. Walking around, you see like the woman of the house, sat in the background having a cup of tea. The cat's there, walking about on the kitchen lino, mopping the floor. That's what I put my money into.
Can we get shares in this?
No, that's an invention.
How good is that?
Yeah.
Can we get shares in that?
It's good though, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, I'll market that. If so, I'll, yeah. That's amazing. I just like the idea of people struggling with their cat to get, hold on though, wait a minute.
Then,
What if I had a bad kidney?
Well then it's worth paying £5 grand.
I suppose a year, because it'd cost a cleaner that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's loads of other things out there that gets loads of
Of
praise.
course, you can stick a brush in its head and make it go down the toilet. It'll be genius, Carl.
No, but there's you see, you say that, if Newton came up with it, you'd be loving it. And there'd be loads of them out there, and everything, right? That's what annoys
Imagine
me.
Newton coming up with that. Imagine Newton coming up with that, Carl. Think of it.
Well, there's other things that gets loads of praise. Penicillin. Everyone, who came up with that? Who came up with that?
Fleming, was it?
Yeah, so discovered it on a...
Right, I'm 30. Don't think I've ever used it. I've had Nurofen and Benylin. Right, so there's one thing. What's something else I was talking to you about?
Oh god, you like video. Okay, so video recorders...
Telescope was another thing you seem to think's important.
Well, no, you asked me about great inventors. I know something. So I said Alexander Graham Bell, the telephone, everything from that, linked from that. John Logie Baird, television, Marconi, the radio. I said Galileo, the I was naming you stuff. It wasn't that, I was just saying that I think those things are more important than Rockbusters. I think they're better ideas.
Telescope? Even telescope?
Carl, play a record, because...
I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington.
Carl, someone pointed me in the direction of this website, and basically, I swear to God, these are real inventions, okay, that real inventors have, applied for patents for, you know, so that they own the copyright.
Why don't I come up with one, a real one,
yeah,
and then you do that
well, I
one,
think some of these...
and Carl has to vote on which think's the better invention.
I think some of these, Carl, you are going to be absolutely excited by. If you love the little mops that go on cats' feet, I think you'll be excited
well, I'll
by
throw
some
one
of
up to start with. Have you got one there ready?
Yeah.
The X-ray machine.
Alright.
Oh.
So we've got the X-ray machine on the one side.
X-ray machine, Carl. Think of that.
So, you've come to me with this idea.
It goes through a patent because it doesn't need light. It excites, it can, well, you know what an X-ray machine can do.
So what's happening is, right, I'm sort of head of some business, I've got a load of money.
Yeah.
You're coming to me with an idea.
Yeah.
And Steve's coming with me to an idea. I've got, say, £5 grand and
I've come with you, I said, look, I can do transrectal operation. You go, I'm not interested. I said, my cat needs a kidney operation. You go, I'm not interested. Right? I've come with you with an X-ray. Meanwhile, Steve walks in with...
Well, firstly, I'm going to offer you, this is, patent 5571247. You've got the X-ray machine. I'm going to come to you with the self-containing enclosure for protection from killer bees.
Tell me more.
Alright, well, it's like...
Tell me more!
A self-containing enclosure for protection from killer bees, comprising an enclosure formed of a flexible, transparent plastic material, basically that will protect us from any killer bees that might be in the area. Useful?
Yeah.
Don't decide yet. Okay, I'll come up with another one. Refrigeration.
Refrigeration. The combination toy dog and vacuum cleaner. Let me read a bit more, don't judge yet. A toy dog closely resembling a real dog and having a hollow interior in which is mounted a vacuum cleaner having a suction hose which is retractable from the tail end of the dog. This enables vacuuming a dog after a haircut and grooming without causing fear to the dog. Because it thinks another dog is in the room.
Sorry. This is a decoy dog to make the dog not realise it's being vacuumed, thinking it's making a friend.
There's a picture of it.
Carl.
Do you see what we're talking about there? That's a dog that looks... It's a fake dog.
Also, do you see that why the cat with the mops is on Steve's side, and why sort of X-rays, refrigeration, things that are on my side, and Newtons and MC squared, as you... Can you see the difference in these can you see the pattern emerging and the difference?
Yeah, but... You see, to me...
Which are you impressed by? Are you impressed by the sanitary appliance for birds? I'll have a look at it. It's, if you've got a domestic bird, maybe a budgerigar or something, but you're tired of it crapping everywhere, these are very tiny nappies that go on a
That is real, isn't it?
Look, there's a picture, there's a diagram
Can I put the microwave up against that one? I know I need the big guns to come out now.
Oh, what are you thinking? I know you're
Budgie
excited.
nappies or the microwave?
It's weird because...
Carl, are you tired of petting your dog or cat? I bet you are. That's why you need this patent pet petter. It is an arm on a piece of wood that will go up and down and stroke and pet your dog for you if you've not got time to do it.
Well, I can only put up interferon, the cancer cure against that one.
Exactly.
Yeah. You see, a lot of these things...
These are all genuine inventions?
Yeah. And if the time was right, we'd say... Get them made. Do you know what I mean? If there was a bad swarm in London, I'd be saying get the B-man on.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, lose the X-ray machines. I don't care about broken bones for now.
Well, at that moment in time, that would be more important than... Do you know what I mean? We know people have been stung. We don't need to look inside them.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? It's all about... It's like the telescope now isn't impressive.
Sure.
If you want to see something in the distance, get on the transport and go and see it. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to look at things in the distance.
Right, so
sure. Whereas budgerigars are shitting and pissing all over people's homes.
Could we put these... I'll tell you what, Carl. So it's looking at supernova and trying to find out more about the universe. Its conception and its eventual end.
Forget that, Rick, because I've got the cheese-filtered cigarette.
Oh, now tell me more.
This is a cigarette where the filter is actually made from cheese. Apparently cheese acts as a very good filter for tobacco, so the smoke passes through the cheese, thus you will induce a kind of smoky cheese.
And also, the smoking, you know, might make you a little bit peckish, and you can just nibble that, so there's no dog end lying around the pavement. Or budgie shit. It's a cleaner place, and you haven't been stung.
Brilliant. Right, now listen, so that's that done.
Yeah.
We've done that as well.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. We've got like 5 minutes left. Winner for Songs of Phrase.
Alright, give us the answers.
Right. We did this at the start. We haven't even got time for the film thing today.
Oh.
But we'll do that next week. Songs of Phrase. It was a phrase, you never see an old man eating a Twix.
I love the fact that we haven't got time. Like, we've had such important stuff, and it's been so jam-packed and interesting. Not that it's been drivel with gaps we could have filled much better.
Yeah.
Don't look at it like that, like,
What, with his film quiz? Come on.
Oh, dear.
So, Songs of Phrase. You never see an old man eating a Twix. We had to change it to Mars Bar. Here's what we had. Jerry and the Pacemakers, Echo and the Bunnymen,
David Bowie,
and the Beach Boys finished it off.
What do you mean I thought that one was? What do you mean? Who's the winner? Oh, it doesn't matter. You gotta give the answer. Who was that one you didn't know it was us?
it was Neil Young, wasn't it?
Jim Crochet, is it? Old Man River, it's called. Jim Crochet.
Old Man River?
Yeah.
Jim Crochet sang Old Man River? I don't think so. What was it?
Who cares?
Right.
Well, people... I can't believe this.
Old Man River, it was.
Let's give the prize to...
Jim Crochet wouldn't have sung Old Man River.
Well, let's give the...
Paul Robeson.
Let's give the prize to Mitchell Sterling, who has got some of the answers right.
on XFM 104.9.
I will be playing that great quiz again next week.
Next week. Ricky Gervais with it on XFM Sports. And if you want to send an email, it's rickygervais.com, or check out the website on XFM's All the Cons. Good night, WP330. Coming up is Narrow Levine and Stoopy Nouns. The Bitter End on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. With me is both Stephen Merchant and Karl, the K-Man, Pilkington.
Oh.
So, you've already got that. That's safe. It's only 4 minutes past. You've had placebo and you've got us three. So
you're definitely going home with that.
Yeah,
whatever
that's
happens.
safe. That's on its way to the hospice.
Exactly. You've banked that.
Yeah. Now, do you want to gamble all that to go on and listen for another 2 hours? Well, you could walk away now and you're up.
Yeah, you're up. You're already up.
Right, that's brilliant.
You have not wasted any time.
Do you want to gamble that against another 2 hours? It might be shoddy, it might go downhill, but it might get even better, Karl. What do you say they do? Listen for another 2 hours?
Yeah.
See, we shouldn't have done that.
We shouldn't have asked Karl, because a lot of them now are already taking what they've got. And what they've got is great, Rick. What they've got is lovely.
Yeah.
They're loving that. They're going to enjoy that.
We have got monkey news. We've got cheap as chimps. That's not the same thing. How many radio stations have got two ape-related simian features?
Rick, can I point out now, a lot of people are making that mistake. A lot of people are thinking that monkey news is exactly the same as cheap as chimps. It's not. Let's keep that clear.
It's not. It's in the same ballpark, but it's not the same.
There are apes, they're involved.
They're involved, yeah. We've also got some great music, yeah. We've got an amusing sketch about a fly. And Mystique is dropping in.
Let's hope the Mystique ladies are coming in.
I want to kick off with a song that is, you know, you've got like half a dozen posing songs that when you're sort of like between 14 and 18, they were the ones you'd put on to get ready to go out, or just pose around, or be that pop star, or think you're on stage, or whatever, or in the video. Yeah. And embarrassingly, I dug this out and I remembered I used to post this like a mother, when I was about 14, right? This is Street Life by Roxy Music. You used to do...
Mine was Oops Upside Your Head.
Yeah.
It was just me on the floor in my bedroom. One day there'll be other people in this imaginary pose.
yeah. Elbows going everywhere, knocking over vases.
Yeah. But then I remember later, it was Black Lace's Superman, which is something similar. Do you remember that? That was brilliant.
Wow.
Spray, ski, da-ding,
If you've, out there in Radioland got any funny jokes, then call in.
Email them in, because we need some.
Oh. That's why I used to jump around to.
What would you have been wearing while you were listening to that?
Well, probably, Brutus Gold jeans.
Classy.
Or green flash, pumps.
Sure. Any socks?
I would have had socks, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have probably been wearing the shirt my mum got me from Tesco's, which was again a Brutus shirt, and it had women in bikinis eating bananas on a chaise longue.
Lots of small ones, or just one big one?
Lots of little small ones. Yeah, so you know, so that was that.
A trilby?
I didn't wear a trilby.
Did you have a toy with a trilby?
I remember when I went on holiday about that time, and I was about 14. My older brother had this leather jacket, and I was on the beach, just, you know, in my shorts and that, and I went to get an ice cream or something. I said, "Can I borrow your jacket?" And I put his jacket on, and I was frozen on the beach thinking, they are all looking at me, because I look so good. And I also had a straw Stetson. And I really thought, yeah, I'm turning into quite a man.
Yes, I'm quite a catch.
Yeah. Just thinking, they're looking, going, who's that dude? Is he American? Has he just come from, some sort of rodeo?
Wait a minute, I'm in a bikini, and I like bananas. I could be the woman for him.
Oh dear.
What was that? Didn't you have a t-shirt or jacket or something you wore to university that was pretty classy? Didn't it have like some foul language on it or something? What was that?
Yeah, I had, when I was 18, right, the birthday before I went to, university, got two sweatshirts, one black, one red, had bullshit on them. Just done the foul. And the red one, all my clothes, the first wash, everything was pink. All my white shirts, all my white socks, of course, because I just put it in, I didn't know. Yeah. So I was a man at university with all pink clothes except for a rather nice red, sweatshirt with bullshit on it. Again, turning into quite a man.
Quite the man. Was that pre or post the time you washed your clothes by getting in the bath? And
that was that was the second year when I had to go and dig at our Halls residence, so I had a bath, and you had to sort of like pay for a bath, you know, so I thought 2 birds with 1 stone. I got in the bath with all my white shirts, so I was going through sort of, you know, wearing a white shirt and tie, that sort of, you know, David Sylvian sort of frying pan, and, Daz. And I just wriggled around in it. I washed myself. It's quite a good exfoliant. Yeah, I didn't do it again because it was sort of not good for the skin, Daz.
Quite sore, is it, around the sort of groins?
Yeah. So there you go. Roxy Music and Street Life. Carl.
Thoughts?
I just was working out time, really. We've got, last week we had a lot of stuff that we didn't manage to cram in.
Which was good.
So I'm just looking at, we have got Cheap as Chimps coming. Songs of Phrase.
Oh, we
chatted about some stuff.
Why don't we kick off with that so we don't forget it?
What?
Cheap as Chimps or Songs of Phrase, or the film thing. We didn't get the film done yesterday.
We've also got a new feature, Cheeky Freak of the Week.
Incidentally, I should just point out now that someone has, Ashley Phillips has emailed in, because obviously with Songs of Phrase, what Carl does, for those that have not heard it, he takes a phrase that you might hear commonly on the show, and then he uses various songs.
There's this Chinese kid.
You
never seen an old bloke eating a Mars bar.
And, as I say, he uses different chunks of songs, and he makes up that phrase, and, so he has made some suggestions here, Carl, because he thinks that the more common Carl, you're an idiot, fool, etc., perhaps a little overheard, he'd like to, maybe hear Carl, pause, I don't know where to start, which is a common one from Ricky. Carl, which bit of that do you actually think is true? And then there's the regular dialogue between the three of us. Carl, well, you know, it could happen. Me, sure. Ricky, no, Carl, it could never happen. Not now, not ever. You're an idiot, play a record. So maybe some of those you could use.
A lot of songs. Well, will we get it going then, today?
Yeah.
This week, do you remember the story about my auntie having wind for 5 minutes? Yeah?
Your auntie, was it your Auntie Nora?
Auntie Nora, she was on a lot of medication and stuff, and I think that's a side effect that comes with it. So, she had wind for 5 minutes, so I thought we'd dig that one out. A classic line, me auntie had wind for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I've got loads of songs here.
How many is that?
Me auntie had wind for 5 minutes, 7 tracks.
Oh, that's tricky.
Why do you learn?
Okay, so you need to identify, if you can be bothered, the artists.
Yeah,
that's what we're after, isn't it?
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, we'll play it a few times.
Just remember, as many as you can get, because the winner would probably be, you know, who gets 5 or something, so don't worry if there's a couple you can't get, because you could still probably win. Go on.
Again.
Can I just, what's the email address?
It's, well, if they go to xfm.co.uk/Ricky, they can just send them through there and that.
Send them through that way. Which of these is the prize bag?
Yeah, don't we get them mixed up?
That's the one, is it, Carl?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's see what hot treats you could win. As I get them out, Carl, do you want to play it once more?
Yep.
I recognised all of them except one.
Yeah.
Right, let me see what we've got here. Once again, Carl, you excelled yourself with an arbitrary collection of DVDs.
Just hanging around, were they?
Just hanging around. Again, I'm always interested to know which of our XFM listeners, has tastes as broad as this.
Go on.
We've got the recent BBC adaptation of The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Brilliant.
Okay, fair enough. We've got, what's this? This is something involving Air, the band Air. I think it's a single at best.
Yeah.
This is probably worth having. This is the current Flaming Lips album, so you've excelled yourself there, actually, Carl. That's not bad. An XFM mouse mat. They're as common as muck.
Oh, hold on. You can't give away that mouse mat. It's a piece of foam.
Now, I was going to dismiss the oddball sci-fi movie K-Pax, featuring Kevin Spacey and Jeff Bridges, but Carl, is it signed by Kevin Spacey?
It's signed, yeah. It's an actual, win that and put it on eBay for £4.50.
And, man alive.
What is that?
Just look at their faces.
No! Carl! Don't give that. No one wants that unless it's ironic.
Series 1 and 2 on DVD of popular northern-based sitcom Bread.
Buy it, sell it, the game's getting hard, 'cause someone's dealing you a losing card. They all had a go, all the actors had a line on that song.
Play the clips again.
Play the clips again, I really want to win it now.
Here we go.
Verve, Lucky Man on XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
The emails, I should point out, aren't flooding in on the
No, but it always takes time when they go through the website.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll be arriving in a bit.
Do you want to play it once more for those that have just joined us?
Alright then.
Brilliant.
My auntie had wind for 5 minutes.
Brilliant. Genius.
Name the artists. Rick, I sometimes get off at the Tube at Tottenham Court Road if I want to look at the record shops before I come into XFM, and I always cut through Chinatown.
Oh yeah.
And every time I come to Chinatown, the same thought always strikes me. I always feel like I want to just gather all the little locals, all the little Chinese fellas, just gather them round and just go, guys, in what way is this a town?
It's not, is
This is not, at best, what you've got here is a novelty street.
Yeah, Gerrard Street is not a town,
No,
mate.
it's not a town. You've had this here for like 100 years. It's not expanding.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't just call it Chinatown and claim it's a town.
If I was them though and you do that, I go, what are you talking about? It is a town, it is a town, it's
What-
our
what
town.
way?
It is a town, it's our town, we got all lots of stuff.
Where's your church? Where's your mayor?
We got a betting shop.
Not enough.
It is.
See, all you've got here is restaurants.
No.
That's not a town.
No, got a little supermarket with snacks.
What does it sell?
Snacks.
Specifically, I would imagine crackers.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to buy a dragon? Do you want to buy an ornamental dragon?
If I wanted to buy one, this is where I would.
Do you want to buy a gold dragon?
Is it made of gold?
No, it's made of plastic, but it's sprayed gold. Do you want to buy that?
It's not a town.
It is a
It's
town.
not a town.
Yeah.
And it annoys me, because when I first came to London, I genuinely thought Chinatown was going to be this amazing, what they've got there is...
You'd hear a gong and...
Yeah,
every time you went in there.
And there'd be rickshaws and people walking on those little sort of wooden shoes. You know those ones? They're brilliant, they are. Just comping around in them. But nothing, it's nothing, it's just... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just reminds me of, have you ever been to any of those sort of museums? You tend to have them up north, where they've got like, you sort of sit in a little cart and it sort of rides you through kind of, I don't know, it might be,
Newcastle,
the Victorian era.
Yeah. Could I have half a pound of those sweets, please?
Exactly.
Of course you can. If
there was some animatronic then, it would just be an exhibit.
Yeah. Although their concession of being 100 years ago is that there's some scales in the shop and there's a horse outside.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. The traditional sounds and smells of old England.
And the voice are going, of course, there was no television.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Brilliant. Yeah. Welcome to Chinatown.
Ding 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 ding.
So it's not. Yeah, it's a good point.
Is that a piece of traditional music? Ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
Is that some traditional Chinese music, or is that music that someone in this country wrote? Thinking it sounded like Chinese music.
I think it was the. Was it the Vapors, wasn't it?
Oh, is that what it is? That? That's the music, but are you sure they didn't take that from some other source?
It's that pentatonic scale, isn't it? What is it called? It's the black notes on the piano.
Right, that's the one I can play along with EastEnders.
Yeah.
You know what I don't get with it?
Go on.
Chinatown.
Yeah, Chinatown, because I always walk through it on the way to work. A couple of things annoy me. First of all, I think it's bad business, just because if you've got a Chinese restaurant, put it somewhere where there isn't any others.
It's a good point.
Yeah, but it's also a community. They're not just a theme park for other people.
I remember going out one night with Suzanne, some friends, and you got there and there's so much choice. It's that dilemma of, oh, forget it.
Well, not really. Specifically, if you fancy Chinese.
Well, no, but why do you go to the one with the dead ducks hanging in the window? That's my favourite.
That's the other thing as well. It's like, normally you put your good stuff in the window. If that's what's in the window.
Yeah.
And the other thing that annoys me, walking through it today, there's always lard on the floor.
What, in the street?
In the street.
It is, honestly. I'm scared I'm going to slip over. It's because all the restaurants and that. But why is it? Oh, that's another point.
Well, it's not oozing out of the restaurants.
No, but why is it? Why is it?
I don't know what they do.
Careful. Listen, no, but why is
That's why they used to wear those little wooden shoes.
No, okay, we've got...
The thing is as well, they try and wash it with water, which doesn't work with lard, and it's like oil.
Famously, yeah.
You know what I mean? Even I know that.
Yeah, you got to scrub it.
So,
you think
sorted that out.
Yeah.
You think they'd know, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, thanks for your thoughts on Chinatown, Carl.
Right, I'm going to play this thing again, because it is a bit slow today, the email.
Oh, because it's too hard.
It's not too hard, there's just clips of songs. What are the artists? Email in. XFM.co.uk.
He's getting annoyed because he put the work in and no one's he's getting annoyed! Oh!
Remember, I think Kevin Spacey, and the signed K-Pax DVD is probably the only incentive to try and have a go at that one.
Do you just think you could win by getting one of them?
Exactly.
Do you reckon we'll get away with it, you see? You've worried me now.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's worried me.
My apologies, if you're offended at all by my reference to those little wooden shoes. Well, that's not gonna help, Rick.
Dear.
That Chinese women used to wear. I don't know if they still wear them.
We've only had one complaint, haven't we? We got from the Sony's, that one about talking about the swan's penis. But you know, things about complaints is that people complain all the time. It's whether it's upheld because it goes from authority, and then they have to go, oh yeah, look, that was in poor taste or pre-watershed or
some of the things you've said on TV though, you must have been stung.
But obviously I've only had one upheld, one serious slap on the wrist for something I said. But
what was he saying? Can you repeat it?
Well, I can. I was talking about, and it was a true story. I was talking about this little old man who his daughter was taken to home because he used to fry up bacon and rub it round to get the dog to lick them.
Right. And you got a complaint?
Yeah.
And that was it. That's why you got a complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, he said it on Songs of Praise.
They said it was in poor taste, I suppose.
What other complaints?
You know the biggest complaint ever on TV, the most complaints ever for anything on TV, was the showing of The Last Temptation of Christ.
Yeah.
Do you know the second? Yeah, the second was I think Anne Robinson, put in the Welsh into room 101.
What, 'cause she didn't like him and that?
Yeah, she just said, well, they're going in the,
She said it slightly more eloquently than that.
Yeah.
I can the people or the place?
I don't know.
I think it was the place and therefore the people.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
No, well, you know, my mum and dad have sort of, moved from Manchester, they've retired now in Wales.
Oh, yeah.
And it is,
Look at his face, turning his nose up.
No, but it is pretty depressing. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them places that, it's like you go back in time and that when you go there. I mean, maybe the major cities there, maybe Cardiff is alright.
What, even coming from Manchester, it's like going back in time?
It's just, it's like one of them places that it feels like every day is Sunday. Do you know what I mean? It's just depressing and grey and slate
Lots
everywhere.
of walking around going, I'm late.
Well, yeah, it is the sort of attitude they have, right? This is true, because my mum and dad live there and that, right? And they love it, it's alright, it's an healthy place to go when you get older and that. But, this is why they don't move on in Wales.
Well, I'd just like to make another sorry to any Welsh people listening, we're not saying you don't move on. Carl is.
No, but...
Sorry about the little Chinese shoes again.
The thing is, it's good that, in a way, that they do that, and they don't want to be, like, you know, rushing about everywhere, because the way London isn't that great either, is it? Because it's totally opposite here, right? Yeah. So I'm not having a go. It is a bit dull. I think even people who live there will agree with me.
Okay.
Right? But, like, one of the shops that my mum and dad use, right, it's only a little sort of villagey type shop, they can't be bothered staying open for hours and hours, right? Because there's not enough people who use the shop.
Yeah.
So what you do is, they get used to what you buy, and
leave it out.
They put it in a phone box outside.
They put it in a phone box?
Yeah.
So it doesn't get wet.
So my dad's loving that.
Well,
Once we found that out, it was like, brilliant.
But how is that a bad thing? That's brilliant.
Well, it's not for other people, it is for my dad, because he's picking up all sorts of stuff.
Oh no, he's not!
Oh, yeah.
He's not nicking other people's shopping.
Well, it's not like nicking, is it, because it's not theirs yet.
Oh! And you've stitched him up on radio.
Well, of course, because they're gonna think, who is there in town with a Manc accent? Who hangs around a lot,
who keeps making phone calls. And he's getting fatter.
Yeah.
That's
I
love that your dad was excited when he found out.
I can't believe that he's moved there. He's retired to this little village where it's based on trust and community, and he is abusing it. He's using his scally Manc ways.
Bloody hell, Lakers, there's no bread again.
There's old women going hungry. Yeah. Their cats aren't getting fed. And your father is just, that's obscene. That's obscene.
Oh, I think it's a die thief. That fella from Manchester.
I don't even think they've got Sky there yet, have they? They can't listen, they won't know what's...
I think you stitched him right up. I hope you have, actually. I hope he goes down for it. I hope he's hounded out of the community like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
They should get burning torches, go up to the mansion.
Set fire to his cottage.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right, well...
He's out of the choir.
Yeah.
Have you seen these posters around with me and Steve on it, right? It's embarrassing, right? We were mucking around at a photo session, and XFM wanted to do some posts. We couldn't be bothered to do them again, so we let him have this one. Irony comes back to haunt you, and it looks like I think I'm Simon Temper or something, and Steve's alright. But we think that Karl should be in it.
Definitely.
Karl doesn't want to be in it, but it looks like everyone listens to this show for Karl's, basically, you know, innocent stupidity and some great tracks.
Exactly.
They don't listen for us anymore, Steve. So I think it should be a campaign to get Karl on the poster.
Yeah. Well, I should point out that I think XFM are more than happy to have him on the poster.
So it's just him.
You don't want to be on there, do you?
There's no need for me to be on it.
Of course there is.
Why not?
I get so many emails here as I'm sat during the show reading them. So many emails saying, what does Karl look like?
Well,
I want pictures of Karl.
If you go to xfm.co.uk/Ricky, we've got those film bits on there. Those video mock-ups where I'm part of it. You can sort of...
That's not enough, Karl. People want to see your face. You're part of the show. You're an intrinsic part of the show.
Yeah, we'll get you on the poster. Why?
It'll be too much on a poster. They can only take in so much.
What do you mean?
They can only take in so much?
Yeah, it's good with 2 people.
No.
It's enough.
So what do groups do then?
Well, they haven't...
It's like Ringo Starr is being left off the cover of Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah. Or Rutherford doesn't get in a look in with Genesis.
Exactly.
Well,
You know,
Which would be outrageous.
yeah. Oh, sorry, Tony Banks, you can't be in this one.
Yeah.
It's just me and you will be very. You see, you look like the Collins,
yeah,
so
but
you've got to be in
I
there.
don't photograph that well either.
You're joking. Is it because the shine? You look like a little cue ball because it just shines off the top.
A lot of people as well. You should dispel the myth. A lot of people think for some reason that you're fat. A lot of people say to me, "Is he fat?"
No, but that's because I haven't got much hair, so it looks like my head's big.
No, they haven't even seen you. They just think from listening to the show that you're fat.
That's because you're northern. They think you just eat chips and complain about the weather.
Well,
Complain about the south.
I just think you could answer a lot of your critics.
but then you see what I don't like about this world. A lot of people judge people on the way they look.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like you
hey.
do.
If only more people thought like that, Steve.
But Karl, you judge people on the way they look.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. But I couldn't with me, could I? Because I don't know what I look like.
What?
If I was listening to me on the radio, I wouldn't be able to say, oh, he's and slag me off and that, because I don't know what I look like. And I quite like that. Do you know what I mean?
I've lost.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just believe me, right? I'm right on this one. It's best if you leave it.
Well, we're not going to leave it. We're going to get you on the poster.
Yeah.
I mainly have to see myself on videotape this morning.
I showed him, the animal show I did, the show.
Yes.
I'm doing a video, and I did behind the scenes footage, and I've got you've seen it, haven't you?
I feel a little bit of Karl on there, isn't there? Yeah,
It's great.
yeah.
It's lovely. He can't believe it. He said, is it playing slow? 'Cause he's so slow, and I come into the office going, alright. That's how you
I'm
talk.
my head as well. I look like I'm looking into a spoon. I'm not happy with it.
I just think that if we're willing if Ricky's willing to use his celebrity profile for the sake of the show, I'm willing to look like let's say a fairly handsome, kind of cool customer. I think the very least, Karl, is that you appear on there as well. You could dress up smart.
Are you worried that you'll look the worst out of all 3 of us?
Who am I standing next to? Am I next to Steve? I'm fairly confident.
Yeah.
I like the way it's so predictable. You pull the string because you know what it is. It's
You pull the string.
what are we talking about for? I was to tell you, you know the most complaints ever, the Last Temptation of Christ.
I haven't seen it.
What's it? It's Scorsese, isn't it?
It's Martin Scorsese, and I bought the film actually recently because I was intrigued to see it, but I've not actually watched it. But from what I understand, the reason that it was so outrageous is because it has a whole sequence which shows what it would be like if Jesus had lived his life and not martyred himself on the cross, but lived his life as a human being. Part of which is him having sex, and so I think that was chiefly what the outrage was, that it was showing this godly man to be, as human as he was supposedly. Because he's supposed to be human as well. So that's the reason. That was the reason that there was complaints there. I don't know. I haven't seen the film.
Well,
I can't say.
you see him, do you?
You see him having sex, I think. Yeah.
Although it is an actor, Karl.
Yeah, it's not actually Jesus Christ.
It's not the real Robert Powell. No, it's an actor playing Robert Powell.
Is that, you see, sex on films and all that, right? When I was growing up, I'd be watching. No, I'm just saying an example of this, really, right? When I was growing up as a kid, and I'd be, watching films with my dad, right? He'd really be enjoying a film, right? And then a sex scene would happen.
Right.
And he'd go...
On film? Or just behind you.
In the film, a sex scene would happen.
Your brother up to his old tricks again.
And he'd get up and go make a cup of tea. Right?
Right.
Typhoon? That he'd stolen from some sort of telephone box?
And, like, even recently, he thinks it ruins a film. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no need for it to happen, is there? Really?
Yes.
Why?
Sometimes it's warranted. If the film itself is...
Yeah, no, some films it isn't, though. Some films it isn't.
Some films it's arbitrary.
I think the films that, him and his dad watched together on Channel 5, probably not. Is it only on Channel 5 in your house?
But let's put it, if you're watching, I don't know, a late night, Friday night,
from 1983.
Yeah. Illegal Briefs. A beautiful lawyer has to defend a man who may be a killer. She falls in love with him, but does she know the real man?
Oh dear.
You know what I mean, though.
Lest you forget, of course, that I,
Love Heat. With the bloke that is now in... Go on.
Of course, that I, according to the, Internet Movie Database, I, once appeared in one of those films, in the film Killer Image, a Canadian film, I believe, from 1989. According to that computer,
it's all wrong, isn't it?
It's all wrong.
It's all wrong.
Of course it is, yeah. Apparently I was in that, and I played the role of Kirk.
Was it a porn thing?
No, I think it's just an erotic thriller.
Oh, right.
I suppose
you only had a very small part, though, didn't you?
Indeed.
Yeah.
But no, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't need to go that far. Say, like in this Jesus programme, right?
Film.
What's it called?
The Last Temptation of Christ.
Just like talking. You know what? What's his name? Is it Ralph in The Simpsons?
Yes.
I tried a kitty cat. It's like talking to that.
Yeah.
No, but right, this temptation thing, right?
Do you know, often we don't get that many complaints on this show. We don't get very many complaints. And I think that's either because there's no listeners, or B, it's because most people agree with Karl, and that terrifies me.
Or they let him off, because it's like, you can plead insanity, you can go mental and kill a few people, they go, oh, he's a bit backwards.
No, but was it because, like, they're saying that he was having it away? Or is it because you saw it? What got the complaints?
The complaint was the very suggestion.
It was a blasphemous thing, not the fact that you saw an actor's knob.
So what about if they just cut it down a bit and you like, saw the little stable door closing?
It wasn't the baby Jesus having sex. It was the grown man.
The stable door shutting.
No, but you know what
the
they do?
nativity scene.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Then the wise men saying, I can't believe we brought myrrh, we should have brought condoms.
No, yeah. There's 2 for 1 offering, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what we were thinking. Frankincense.
It's just, it's always awful.
Should we apologise now to the Christian church as well? Sorry, the little Chinese fellas, little Welsh fellas, and the little Christian fellas.
We haven't said anything wrong.
No.
It's like, you see, when I was growing up...
Stable door. I love the idea that in Karl's world, he was born in a stable, just thought, well, I love this place. Yeah. I'm just going to stay here the rest of my days.
This is good here. Oh, brilliant.
But when I was watching telly with my mum and dad, I mean, it still happens now, right? My dad will sort of go, oh, ruined. Good film ruined. Right, if some sex scene happens.
But what are we
talking about sex scene? Are we talking about a kissing, or are we talking about, penetration and looking at the camera? Going, are you enjoying this, Pilkingtons? What are we talking about? What is sort of extreme levels are we talking about?
Right, last time I was down there, right?
Yeah.
What was it? Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black is a terrible film. Yeah.
Right? It's a good film. And then, you know it's gonna happen, because, like, the music comes in. Brad Pitt's keeping quiet, a woman's eyeing him up.
Sure.
I
So
love that!
My mum's worked it out already, and she's going, anything on the other side, love?
She knows.
She knows it's, something's,
so you can be enjoying a film, and you can be an hour and 10 in, and then some spidey senses of one of them can go, should we turn it over, and the other one goes, yeah, all right.
Are you sure it's not them protecting you from scenes of sex? So that what they're thinking is, what if Karl gets the idea to have sex?
Yeah.
That could lead to procreation, we don't want any more like him.
Yeah.
We've got to end the line here.
You sure it's not the doctor keep calling out going, you are keeping away from women, aren't you?
He must never find out.
Are you sure they're not embarrassed because they're watching a sex scene with their son?
It happens every time, right? There's 2 things that my mum does, right? It's that, if there's sex scene on the telly, she'll go, anything on the other side, love? And the other thing she always says, if ever there's anything on the telly with Elvis in it, she goes, oh, I like him, right? And we all know, we sat there, we know what she's going to say next.
Yeah.
So you don't even bother saying why, right? And she goes, he likes fat, ugly people.
He what?
He liked fat, ugly people. He didn't always go for, like, the good-looking fans in the crowd.
What Elvis did?
Yeah.
Right.
That was always the thing, and
I'm sorry, no, hold on, I don't know what we're doing now with our lives, Steve. Right, wait a minute, right. So, your mum says two things, right? She either says...
Is there anything else on the other side?
Or, I like Elvis. There's a pause, because you know what she's gonna say next. She says, he liked fat, ugly people. How often does this occur?
Well, because they've got, like, you know, Sky, there's a lot of those channels on. They're like the music channels. So Elvis always comes on. There's either an Elvis film, there's like, you know, a classic hit by him on...
And she'll go, I like Elvis, he likes fat, ugly people. And what do you mean he liked fat, ugly people?
Is she a fat, ugly person?
Because there's that special Vegas show, isn't he, where he's dancing about, right? And he's got loads of scarves around his neck.
Towels.
Yeah. And, like, he always hands them down to the fat, ugly ones. Right. And I always say it's because they're the fat, you know, they've got a sweaty face because they can't, you know what I mean?
I don't know what world they live in!
I don't know how we've gone to this subject.
What sort of world are you going when you're watching his face? And what do you mean fat, ugly ones? You mean they're in the front, they're sweating a lot because they're a bit chubby?
So she thinks, you know, it's giving them a towel because it's
he's really going, wipe your face, you're putting me off, you fat cow. Stop sweating near me.
There's another one.
What?
So, hairy Chinese kids.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We haven't slagged off hairy Chinese kids. We slagged off Chinese. We didn't slag anyone off. We just said they really haven't got a town as such, and they wear shoes. What do we say?
Yeah, little wooden shoes.
And what did the
I just don't know how we got onto Elvis and big fat ugly women. I don't know where I don't know how we sliced that from the Last Temptation of Christ.
Did you see that fat Girls and Feeders
Go
programme?
on a minute.
Eh?
What's Tom Petty first?
Oh, brilliant! It's a great song. Breakdown.
How many
Tom
other
Petty.
radio shows have talked about Last Temptation of Christ?
There's like a crack in the sink and we just can't be bothered to... There's glue! There's like a crack in the sink and we just can't be bothered to... Glue! Like fucking replace it because it's so expensive. There's like a crack in the glue! Crack in the sink and we just can't be bothered to... There's like a crack... There's like a crack in the sink and we just can't be bothered to... There's glue! There's like a crack in the sink and we just can't be bothered to...